Hey everyone, welcome to a new explanation. In this case, let's take a look at the changes made on Minecraft 1.21.2, because now we can add new armor textures without overriding, for example, the trims or the vanilla textures. That is an awesome change. Also some changes related to item models that let us not using custom model data anymore, which may be useful for many things. So first, let's take a look up to the changes. Well, here we are on the update changelog. There are many things, you can take a look at them in the link I will leave in the description. But the most important things are right here, the technical changes, because the other things is in-game changes. Well, what do we have? We have a new command, we have the new item component, which is food. For example, we can make a stone be consumable, so we can eat a stone or eat different things. We can edit what happens when we eat the things. Other item components, perfect. And what we are going to use is item model and Equippable that I'm going to teach you later. Also, we can set the glider to any item, so now we can glide with any item. The tool type style, that is what is shown when you put the mouse above the item when you have the inventory open, for example. Now there is death protection, you can use as totem any item you want, and other things that I don't think it's very important for this video, because each thing may be useful for the one who needs it. So now, with a fast look up, let's do what this video is for. Alright, so in this video we are going to see three things: the new things related to texture pack and how to use them, how to get from old format to the new format, and how to make this process easier with Summer plugins, because you will see that we may need add NBT tags using custom commands, and all this can be easily done using Summer plugins. Anyways, I will teach you later. So first, let's take a look at the changes, and the first change important is the item model. What is the item model? Where if you have already created texture packs, you may know what this is. But before using custom model data, what we do is that we select a number of custom model data, for example custom model data 5, and we say, hey, if the item has custom model data 5, use this item model. That means you link a number of custom model data to an item model. So what you need to make the item model works is the item model itself and the custom model data setup. Now with the new item model component, you don't need to create that custom model data setup anymore. You can inside Minecraft select, hey, I want this item to use the model inside this path. And that's very cool because it avoids us to make unnecessary steps, and also let us change the model of the item freely, because we are not limited to the models that we set up in the custom model data. That's very cool. And also it works with different namespace. Obviously the ID of the model will be inside the models folder. You can't move it from there. So let's take a look. As I said before, I will create it now from zero, and then I will show you how to change the old format to this new format. Let's create a fast texture pack. Alright, so here we are. Remember, to create a texture pack, I have already explained it, and the way it works have not changed. Anyways, this is the quick setup of a texture pack. We have to create the folder inside our resource packs folder, and inside we will have the pack MC meta. We are going to use the pack format 34, that is the pack format for this version of Minecraft. Then we will need the folder assets, Minecraft, and we have the models and the textures. We're going to create a models inside item, and this is the model that I'm going to use. This will be called ASD. Now let's open it, and you will see the default model format for 2D textures, where we are selecting that this model will use the texture inside item ASD, let's take a look at here. Minecraft textures, we save item and then ASD. I selected the diamond shovel PNG and I will open it and edit it a bit. I will do it using paint.net. We can select, for example, adjustment, hue saturation, and I will set it like this. Press OK, file and save, and that's it. Okay, so remember, the model is saying, hey, I will use the texture inside item and it will be called ASD. We are inside item and it's ASD, so it should work. Let's take a look inside Minecraft. Alright, now the resource pack is loading. Let's see. First we have to take ourselves an item. It can be whatever. Remember, now the new item model, we can select the model to any item we want. For example, the emerald. We can select the emerald and now we can open brackets and select item model. And what is the item model we're going to use? Remember, the item model, if we go to models item, it's called ASD. So we are selecting, hey, I want this to use the item model ASD. And it works. It's an emerald, but it's using the item model of ASD. And why does it look like a shovel with pink? Well, because the model ASD is using these textures. And that's it. If we give ourselves the normal emerald, it still works. And as you saw inside models, I haven't created the emerald.json. Before, we needed to create that in order to set up the custom model data. That is not needed anymore. We just need the item model and that's it. Alright, but now there's one problem. We are going to have many models here, many models. So how can we order them inside folders? Well, there is no problem. Let's create a folder called Pepe and I will select ASD inside Pepe. This is important. Everything we are doing must be inside models and item folder. Alright, so the previous command we did was emerald and then item model ASD, and that's it. Now if we give ourselves this, okay, I haven't reloaded the resource pack, I will do it. It doesn't work anymore and that's why this is showing like this, because the item model doesn't exist. So why? Because now it's not ASD, it's inside Pepe. But we can do it like this. We have to input this text as a string, adding these quotes. And now it works. We're selecting, hey, the item model is inside Pepe and it's called ASD. And now this works. Perfect. This is the same with all models on 2D. We create the model and we select the model to use certain texture. And it's the same for blockbench item models. To avoid confused people, I will show you. I will open a blockbench model and I will add the setup using this new item model component. Alright, so I'll open here a blockbench model and what we're going to use is file, export and block item model. Here I am on my resource pack. It will be assets, Minecraft, models, item. This is Pepe, but I'm going to create a new folder called weapons. And I will set it right here. Let's save it. Now let's open our texture pack and we will see the weapons folder and the revolver. Hey, we are saying the texture is inside block and revolver. I will change it to weapon and revolver. So now we have to open Minecraft textures and inside the weapon we have to set the texture of revolver, that is right here on our blockbench. Let's save this and it will go into textures, weapon and revolver. Perfect. So now let's reload Minecraft and let's give ourselves the model, weapon and revolver. Hey, there is an error. Why? Because I select weapon instead of weapons. So let's change it, and now it works. Hey, but the texture doesn't work. Why? Because something I told you. I told you that every texture must be inside item folder. So item, weapon, revolver, and let's move our weapon inside item. So now it's item, weapon, and revolver. Let's reload, and we will see it works now. So that's it. I will summarize the steps again. We have to, in models, item, we can create folders. In this case, I select the weapons folder and I saved my blockbench JSON. Inside our blockbench JSON, we have to select the texture we are using. It must be inside the item folder, so we start from there. Then we can create anything we want. In this case, I created a folder called weapon and the texture that is called revolver. So if we open our texture pack, we will see that inside textures, item, weapon, revolver, there it is. That's why it works. That's with item model. Now let's go into the next thing, that is equipment model. And this is where things get really good, because now the same thing we did before selecting, hey, this item, use this item model, we can create now equipment models, and we can select the equipments to use certain equipment values, or even to select items to use equipment model. I will show you all of this right now. Let's create finally new armor textures without changing anything. So let's go. Alright, so the first thing we need to create a new armor texture is the armor texture. You have two ways to do this. The first one is getting the vanilla armor texture that I will show you now. That is not the best way because it's hard to understand what each part is, or you can edit the texture using 3D editors. That's what we're going to use. Into Nova Skin, we're going to select Minecraft Resource Pack Creator, and we are going to say, hey, I want to edit the default Minecraft texture pack. Let's get into textures, let's get into models, armor, and here we have the normal textures. For example, let's get into this one, and you can edit it as you want. When you are done, you can just press save. I will save the texture to not leggings. I will download it and I will save it on our texture pack inside Asset, Minecraft, and textures. Right now I will leave it here. It's not the place it should be, but for now I will just leave it here. So let's save, and now let's go to edit the leggings, because I don't know why, but Minecraft has those two textures separate. So now let's edit it. You can do whatever you want, then you press save, and the same. This is leggings. So let's save, download, and on the same place. Nice. This is the way I would recommend you to edit the armor, because it's the easier. The second way that I do not recommend, that I'm going to use, but instead of editing the armor itself, I will just change the colors, is editing this file. I will open it with paint.net, and you can just come here and paint stuff. This is the boots, this is the helmet, and this is the chest plate. Anyways, I will just use paint.net to change the saturation, for example, to this. Let's save this file, and now let's do the same but with the leggings, just to apply a change that is visible. The same saturation. Okay, let's save. Okay. So we have our new armor texture. You can create a better thing. So what do we have to do now? We have to go to Minecraft models, and instead of item, we're going to create the folder equipment. And we can see the default inside here. It might be like this, maybe. It's right here. Custom equipment layers. You can see that it's inside assets, Minecraft, that is our namespace, models, equipment, and the path. So let's create a new path. It will be called ASD. So let's create it, asd.json, and perfect. And the format looks like this. I will just copy this and I will save it. It's saying, hey, for the layers of horse body, use these textures. We are not creating a horse body, but you can create horse body, wolf body, llama body, different textures for what you want. In this case, we are only going to change the humanoid, that is all the armor textures without the leggings, and humanoid leggings, that is the leggings texture. So let's open this. Let's delete this because we are not using it. All right, for the ASD JSON we created that it's the equipment model, we have to link this to the textures we created. But it's not that simple, because if we open here, we can see that the namespace that we are selecting here is inside this path. So we have to create it. Let's do it. It's saying it's inside textures, then inside entity, equipment, the layer type. In this case we are using humanoid body, humanoid, and humanoid leggings, and then inside we have to put our textures. So let's do it. Leggings inside humanoid leggings, and not leggings inside the humanoids. So we can now select here not the leggings and leggings, because remember, the path of these textures doesn't start in textures, it starts from textures, entity, equipment, humanoid, and right here we can do stuff. For example, if you would want to create a folder called folder, for example, we have to create it here, not inside textures, inside humanoid. So let's create a folder and then not leggings, just for test purposes. Okay, it's supposed that we already created the equipment model that this is, and we select the equipment model to use certain textures, and we already did it. So now let's get into Minecraft. Let's reload our resource pack, and let's see how to do it. Give Vayk emerald, and now instead of using item model, this is how the item looks, but we're going to use Equippable, and we're going to open brackets, and we have to add some configuration. We can check right here the configuration, but in few words it's the slot and the model. You can see here a slot. I will select the slot of head, and I will select, hey, use the model called ASD. Why? Because we can see that our new equipment file is called ASD. So let's test. We can see that our emerald looks fine, but if we right click, it will go into the head slot and it looks like exactly we want. We can do the same for the others. Instead of head, we can select body, I think. Okay, my bad, it was chest. And it works perfect. Then leggings, or legs probably, yes, and then feet. And this is our new armor, and you can see we are not editing any armor. Let's put ourselves in creative. All armors are normal. We haven't modified any armor or any armor trims, so we are adding new armor textures. Now every item is an emerald, but what you can do is, for example, change the item name of emerald to any other item, or you can use as the base item, because remember, we are not changing the way the item works, we're only changing how it looks. So instead of emerald, if you're using feet, for example, you can use diamond boots. And it's a diamond boots that when it's placed in the feet slots, it looks like other armor. Now, how do we change how it looks? Because it would be nice this to looks like it should. Well, you can do that using item model, exactly what we learned before. For example, item model, and it was called Pepe and ASD, and now you can see that is using the item model we select before, and we can place it here and it looks like the model, because we are changing two other things: how it looks as an item and how it looks when it's equipped. Now, to link it correctly, the texture of this item to our boots, we don't have to change the equipment texture. That is what we did before. Now we have to change the item texture. And how are we going to do it? Well, I get the diamond boots PNG default. I will open it with paint.net. And I will do the same I did before: adjustment, saturation, this on max. Let's save it. Okay. And now I have this that will be called Mushroom Boots. It's inside the item folder. So now what can we do? We can create models, item. I will create a new folder called new armors. I will copy this model because we are going to use the same idea. I'm sorry, new armors. I will call the Mushroom Boots. Let's open this, and this will use Mushroom Boots. Let's double check this. So we created a model inside new armors called Mushroom Boots. That is using the textures inside item, and it's called Mushroom Boots. Perfect. So now let's give ourselves the item with this model. It's item new armors Mushroom Boots. So instead of Pepe and ASD, it's called new armors and Mushroom Boots. Okay, I haven't reloaded the texture pack, and now it works perfect. You can see that it's using the item model we selected before, and when it's placed on boots, well, it looks like the equipment texture we created before. So what do we have to do to create the new armor textures? We have to edit the item model. That means how it looks when it's dropped, when it's on our hand, when it's on inside a chest, and also we have to change the textures when it's equipped. That means when you have it inside, when you have it in the body. Hey, but we have more to do, because as you can see right here, we have the camera overlay, allow with entities, damage on heart, the equip sound, other things. For example, the camera overlay. What we can do? We can select, hey, in this equipable model, we can create a camera overlay. And if we read it right here, we can see that you can use pumpkin blur. Let's take a look here. Pumpkin blur. So if we give ourselves the boots, we are using as camera overlay the pumpkin blur. It doesn't exist, but we are going to create it. It says it's inside textures. So let's get into textures, and we have to create a pumpkin blur. How are we going to do that? Well, as I have already explained it in another tutorial, I will get the default textures from the default texture pack of this version, and it was called pumpkin blur. So it's right here. I will open it with paint.net, and now I will paint some stuff. So first, let's create a new layer. Let's delete the previous one, and I will do a fast change. I don't know, probably this to 16, and I will just create something, I don't know, anything. So like this, I will paint all of these. Probably like this. I don't know what I'm doing, but we are creating a camera overlay that will be shown when we equip this slot. And we can do, hey, this could be good, probably this to 3 and some crosshair. Okay, so now let's save this and let's reload the texture pack. And it doesn't work because we select to use pumpkin underscore blur. So let's add the underscore and the G letter, and now let's reload. That's why you have to double check everything. And it works because I just did it quickly. It doesn't match with center, but it works. We are having this camera overlay that is very cool because you could create, for example, conditions and some setup to have blood on the screen depending on your life, for example, or you could maybe create an astronaut overlay. I don't know, you can create many things. And take a look that we are having the camera overlay from the boots, so it's not even restricted now using a pumpkin and editing it, or using a helmet. You can do it from any equipment thing you want. Also, what you can add is the glide component. We can press comma and glider, and we can create, hey, if you have these boots, you can now glide, and that looks awesome. You are not even restricted to use gliders using the Elytra. You can glide with any equipment. But hey, when I'm gliding, it doesn't have a texture of Elytra. Why? Because of the equipment model we select on these boots. What is happening? If we open into assets, Minecraft, models, equipment, and then we open ASD, we can see that we only created layers for humanoid and humanoid leggings, not for Elytra. So let's go onto humanoid right here, and we can see that there is the layer for wings. So let's copy all of this. It will be called wings. Perfect. And the name of the texture will be wings. So where these wings are? Well, it's inside Minecraft, textures, entity, equipment, a new folder called wings, and here we have the wings. Instead of creating the texture, I will again take it from here. Entity, equipment, wings, and here we have the Elytra. But we said before that it will be called wings, as I wrote here. So I will open this with paint.net and the same adjustment, saturation to the max. Okay, let's save it. And it doesn't look perfect, but it's an idea. And now we can reload this, and we will see now that if we select this item to be used on the chest slot, we have the Elytra we just modified. And if you don't trust me, you can check that this is not the vanilla Elytra. We can put ourselves the Elytra and it's different, but if we put ourselves the new Elytra, it has a different textures. And we haven't changed the Elytra textures, we are adding things. We haven't modified any vanilla texture or any vanilla model. And that's it with the new things. Just keep in mind we have many things that you can change. You can take a look at the all item components that are new on the Minecraft logs, but I have already explained you what I wanted to. We now know how to edit item models without using custom model data, that is to change how it look the item. Then we now know how to change the armor model, that is how it looks from 3D. Also how to edit the camera overlay, and how to change even the Elytra, and even how to make the Elytra works even if it's not on the chest plate slot or with items that are not the Elytra itself. So that's perfect. Now you can create all items you want, you can create the textures you want. You don't need any more using custom model data, but if you want, you can continue using it. Anyways, that's it. Now I will show you how to get from the old format to the new format, but it's very easy and you will understand it very quick. So let's get into it. Hey, okay. So this is the item model using custom model data. How did I give myself this item? Using diamond sword and custom model data with value of 1. Alright, so now how do we change from here to the new item model? Okay, first I have to tell you a quick summarize how the custom model data works. And it works changing the item model of the vanilla item itself. That means diamond sword JSON. We then change and we select to use custom model data value 1 assigned to this model that is inside item diamond sword, and it's called 1, and it says, hey, use these textures. So how do we change this? Well, it's very easy. We don't have to do this anymore. So inside item, I will just delete diamond sword.json. It's not needed anymore, and this will tell me, hey, this file doesn't exist anymore. I don't care because it is not needed anymore. So I will reload the item and you will see it lost the textures. But instead of using custom model data, I will use item model, and it's inside diamond sword. So diamond sword, and it's called 1, and that's it. Now we have again our texture. It can be a long work to do all this to all your items. As I said, it's not needed, but it's very cool because in the diamond sword.json we have before, we assigned a model to a certain number of custom model data, and it's a limitation because I can use any item model outside those values assigned to custom model data. Anyways, as I said, you can choose the one that you prefer, but if you want to change, this is what you have to do. You have to change every item to, instead of using the custom model data, to use specific the item model that you selected before inside the custom model data. Just that's it. Hey, so what can we do with executable items to make this process easier? Well, instead of writing the vanilla give command with many brackets, we can just create, for example, create ASD, and in this case we have the item model and the custom model data. You can still using it, but for example, it can be, I don't remember how it was, weapons and revolver. And now you can see it gets just the model that we selected, and that works very fast. Also, what we can do is enable the equipable features. For example, we are going to enable to make it work in the chest. We are going to enable the sound. We're going to select this sound. The keep model is called ASD, and we can select all these options. We're going to save it just like that, and if I right click, I can equip it, and it will have all the configuration I select before. So as I said, instead of using give, Vayk, emerald, or the item you want with the brackets and all the information, we can just use the GUI. That will reduce us the time that we spend developing, just for you to spend less time creating items and more time using the creativity to develop all these items. Anyways, that's the end of the tutorial. I explained you what are the new things. We created and used those new things. Then we learn how to get from the old format to the new format. And I show you how to get the items faster using executable items. That's it, guys. I hope you like the video and see you soon. Goodbye.